Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, "'Tis the Season, Mobile Messaging Strategies for Your Best Holiday Ever." Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha from Glossy, and I'll be your moderator. Today's webinar is sponsored by Attentive. Attentive believes that consumer-to-business interaction should be mobile, real-time, and personalized, and they're building the solutions to power those connections. We're joined today by Brian Long, CEO and co-founder at Attentive, and Philip Cruikshank, Brand Marketing Manager at CB2. Brian Long is the CEO and co-founder of Attentive, a personalized mobile messaging platform for brands. Previously, he was the CEO and co-founder of Tap Commerce, a mobile advertising company acquired by Twitter in 2014. Philip is a brand marketing manager at CB2, where he oversees digital marketing channels, including SMS and email, along with leading marketing strategies to drive customer acquisition and retention. With several years' experience in global brand management spanning retail and the travel industry, prior to CB2, Philip was global brand manager at Hyatt Hotels Corporation. A question and answer period will follow the presentation, so please stay with us until the end. Feel free to submit questions at any time via the GoToWebinar platform. Everyone who registered for today's webinar will also receive an email with a recording of the session tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. In today's webinar, Brian Long from Attentive will look back at the 2018 holiday shopping season and the impact mobile had, and share checklists for driving mobile revenue in Q4 and beyond. You'll also hear from Philip Cruikshank from CB2 on how the brand converted mobile holiday shoppers in 2018 and how they plan to beat that success this year. Okay, let's get started. Brian, take it away.
Thanks a lot, and thank you for everyone joining today. We're really happy that you could make it on this super exciting Summer Tuesday to begin planning, or for some of you that have already done some planning, get ready for the tremendous holiday that we're going to see this year. So I thought it would be fun to start off by just looking at what happened last year to give a sense for knowing a little bit of indication what will happen this year. So last year was a really huge time for e-commerce sales around the holiday period. We saw a tremendous increase in e-commerce sales during the fourth quarter. In particular, Black Friday was huge with $2 billion in sales. And overall, we saw over $50 billion in mobile sales across the season. So pretty incredible to see how much it's changed just over the last couple of years, with a lot of more sales happening on mobile than ever before. Getting into some more specifics here, not a huge surprise, but the time period between November 1st and December 6th contributed to almost half of that holiday period spending. So super crucial to make sure that you're getting in front of your audience during those sort of peak shopping days and peak season. And from a traffic standpoint, last year we saw about 2/3 of all e-commerce traffic coming from mobile devices. So far and away the majority of traffic coming from mobile devices. And this year, with mobile devices just getting faster and internet getting faster and more people spending all time on their phones, we expect those numbers to be substantially higher, with 84% of consumers set to do their shopping on their phones for researching, as well as the actual buying on the phone. So, as much if it's a tremendous opportunity to get in the mobile channel, more than ever before, and just the crazy amount of eyeballs that are moving into the channel, we also do see a lot of other brands trying to reach these folks. So, we all know first that all brands are going to send a lot more messages, a lot more emails, a lot more ads during this time period. Last year we saw a significant increase in additional email volume, which coincided with a pretty sharp decrease in the amount of emails that were being opened, as well as non-holiday emails that were impacted. We also see increasing media costs. So if you're relying on Facebook or other channels, you know that the prices are going to become more expensive, especially during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday time period, where almost all brands are devoting a significant amount of their annual budget just to those peak time periods. And then finally, consumers are getting a little more savvy. There are new tools that come out. It seems every week or so, that consumers can find better ways to find the best price, find the free shipping, the best deal, and pushing to get more and more there. So, what are ways that your brand can kind of get beyond the noise and get in front of people and be able to reach them, maybe where they're not as crowded as these other channels that are already sort of saturated and peaked out and obviously work and shouldn't be eliminated, but you want to find these new sort of additive channels. What we found is that mobile messaging can drive 10x or more revenue per message than email. And the reason for that is it's pretty simple, right? When you get a text message or other type of mobile message on a Facebook Messenger or something like that, you are very likely to read all of those messages. And when that content is smart, is personalized, you can drive upwards of 30% plus click-through rates. Some of our more personalized messages will do 30, 40, even 50% click-through rates. And then most importantly, you can track and see the ROI. So you can see, every dollar that's driven from the channel, and you can find ways to optimize that in order to drive, maybe 50x plus ROI. So just to run through a couple strategies that we've seen be successful, both last holiday as well as been working with brands for this holiday season. We unpack our messaging solutions into 3 separate buckets. The first bucket is one-time campaign messages that can be sent to your entire audience or segments of the audience based on behavioral or interaction data. Number 2 are automated or triggered messages, which can be sent on things like cart abandonment. And then finally, customer service messages or clienteling type of messages in which an actual human or in some cases more automated type of responses are going to that consumer. So just quickly to unpack the opportunity around each one of these. For one-time campaign messages, you have the opportunity to send it to your whole list, which a lot of people will do during the holiday period, or be really smart and segment that list out and send particular content to people based on their browsing history. Hey, these are people that have looked at couches before. We're going to send them couches. A lot of messages can be promotional during the holidays because a lot of companies use promotions, but we've also seen intermixing that with a lot of non-promotional messages can be incredibly effective too in order to engage shoppers and drive transactions. So here's just a quick example of the type of strategies that we see be effective for promotional-based marketing messages. Urgency, letting them know this is a limited time sale. We've had customers who do sales that only last 16 minutes, or customers that have sales that last for a couple hours. So the sort of using FOMO as part of the sale can be really effective, as well as things like limited inventory, back in stock, something they know they're going to get a new type of deal each day, so it gets exciting to go and check that out each day. Those can all be really effective strategies. We also really like non-promotional strategies because you don't want it to be a promotion every day. You want to change up, make sure that they're also getting things like gift guide content to help them find the right gift for the right person. Things that actually link to your in-store location. We track and gather location data that we can use in order to do that for our customers. And then things like letting them know, hey, if you don't buy something soon, you're going to have no packages underneath the Christmas tree, so this is a good time to buy. So those are all the type of campaign messages that customers are sending on a continuous basis. But we also send a lot of automated messages for our customers all the time that are just going out continuously with no work needed from the market. And just as an example of those types of messages here, we're seeing that cart abandonment is a particularly very popular message to try to bring someone back who, although mobile conversion rates have increased, we still see mobile conversion rates be somewhere around half, maybe a little more than half of what desktop conversion rates are. So it's getting better, but it's still really important to bring back those mobile shoppers and get them to the finish line. Finally, in addition to those type of triggered automated messages and the campaign messages, we also love ways that customers can use this as a two-way communication channel. We've done studies on our side that have found that when people are getting replies, they spend 31% more than people that aren't getting that type of interaction. And when you survey consumers, you find that almost half of consumers really want and expect to get real-time replies to their questions, issues, and feedback. So, I think that even customer service is becoming a bit of a misnomer, and sort of viewing it as a clienteling, upselling, decision-making type of interaction is where we see this two-way channel going. So, that's a lot of what we've learned working with some customers to date. And now I have the honor to pass things off to Philip from CB2, who can actually tell you that the strategies that they saw successful for them last year. And if we're lucky, maybe I don't know, Philip, I don't know if we talked about this, maybe we'll get a couple tips on things that they're going to do this year based on the knowledge from last year. So with that, I'll hand things over to Philip to run away with it. Philip, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Okay. So as seen throughout the webinar so far, what Brian walked us through, the holidays are obviously a huge time for retail and e-commerce brands. So we just wanted to put together a little bit of a case study of how we approached our first holiday season using SMS. And so with all the noise that inundates consumers around the holiday period, as Brian said, across email and other digital channels, we were looking at engaging with customers and reaching our shoppers with SMS messages and offers that would ultimately drive incremental revenue for us. So we'd pretty recently launched our mobile messaging program with Attentive. So we really leaned into text messaging last holiday season to be able to connect with our customers in a more direct way. So from what we call Cyber Week, from Wednesday, November 21, the day before Thanksgiving, through to Cyber Monday, November 26, we sent a total of 4 text messages to our subscribers. And we were kind of really dipping our toes in the water there because prior to that, our message cadence was only 1 SMS per week. And we're kind of really cautious about our cadence because obviously we didn't want to affect our opt-out rate or upset our loyal customers. But what we actually saw from this is right through into our 4th message, we received as high as a 20% conversion rate and drove a significant amount of incremental mobile revenue for CB2. So now I just wanted to kind of walk you through a little bit of the creative and the results for each of the messages. So our pre-Black Friday SMS that went out on Wednesday, we had the offer of 15% discount on full price items plus free shipping, excluding furniture and things like that. So this message, we saw a 7.7 click-through rate and a 10.7 conversion rate, which was really great for us. And then heading into Black Friday on November 23, we had a 15% discount continuing, as well as the free shipping offer continuing as well. This one here, a higher click-through rate, and then also seeing a much higher conversion rate than Wednesday. And we kind of learned that through our testing, is that sort of like the later in the week, especially on weekends, is where we see the highest engagement and conversion on our SMS. And then heading into Sunday, we had pretty much the same offers running, but added free furniture delivery as well there as well. And again, you'll see there we still have that 8.5% click-through rate and 10.6% conversion rate. And then I think one of the other things to note at this point is we were really watching the opt-out rate of each of these messages as we're sending, and we actually were seeing lower opt-out rates than our standard weekly promo messages at that time. So it was going really well for us. And then on Monday, November 26th, again, we had basically the same offers running as we did on Sunday. But this one had sort of like astounding conversion rate of 20.2%. So we were, even though we sent basically the same offer all 4 days, we got excellent engagement on all of the messages, while not overwhelming or fatiguing the shopper. And we were kind of really mindful of that. So we saw this kind of as a really successful test drive for us. And so this, and again, this coming through a channel that they're only receiving marketing messages from brands that they're most loyal or most interested in. So it does make a difference when it comes to click-through and conversion rates, because our customer is actually opening and reading every single message they get. So then kind of what Brian touched on earlier, we always try and do a good mix of promo messages as well as what we call branded messages. So throughout the rest of the month of December, we sent holiday related messages to our subscribers, including some that weren't as promotional and were just from sort of like a customer engagement standpoint. So to run through those, the first one we sent was an in-store invite sent on 12/2. So we always try, and whenever we have any sort of in-store activations or anything around product launches, or especially the holiday season, we make sure that we make a big deal of it for our SMS audience and make it sort of like an exclusive invite to them. And we actually see really high engagement on these event SMSs. The winter clearance pre-sale was a special sort of sale that we launched to our SMS subscribers, opening up our winter clearance a little bit earlier to help drive last minute holiday sales right before Christmas. And then on 12/15, we did a free shipping text that was going to, again, to our SMS subscribers right before the holiday shipping deadlines. So around the holiday theming, encouraging people to purchase before the holiday so they could get stuff in time for Christmas and whatnot. So that's not uncommon as well, that we'll do sort of like SMS only exclusive offers, especially around the holiday season as well. So overall, we were extremely pleased with how mobile messaging channel performed during the holiday season. So from November 21 through December 26, the entire program ROI during the holiday season was 126. And during Black Friday, Cyber Monday week, we drove over $1 million in revenue just from our mobile messages sent. So we went into this, as I said earlier, just purely as a test drive, our first holiday season using SMS, and across the board couldn't have been more impressed with the results that we saw. So turning that into 2019, probably like most of other retailers, we've kind of wrapped up all of our holiday promo planning and everything. So as you saw from the 2018 messages, we ran the same offer pretty much across the entire promo period, the 15% off with free shipping, and then we added free furniture delivery on a couple of days. And so what we've learned this year as we've been testing, and something Brian touched on a little bit earlier, around Memorial Day, we started looking into doing something that was a little bit more engaging with, especially a text message audience that is getting these messages regularly every other day around the holiday period. Is we tested into doing those sort of daily deals where it was sort of only shop until midnight type thing to keep it exciting, and getting a little bit richer in the deals that we were doing as well. So for example, instead of having select items on sale, we would put an entire category on promo for 1 day only. And so now that our channel's been live for a year, so with those learnings from earlier in the year, this holiday season, we're actually going to be taking a similar approach, where we're going to be messaging people with sort of deals of the day over the holiday season around the theme of holiday as well. The second thing we're looking at doing very soon, leading up to the holidays, is launching a reactivation campaign. So now that our channel has been live for a year, we'll start incorporating testing different types of reactivation offers around the holiday period. So we'll we will build segments of non-purchasers and lapsed customers within our audience base to try and help drive conversion with some of those non-buyers with the range of offers that we're going to test into. So hopefully next holiday season, we'll have a lot of good learnings around that as well. And then lastly, as I said, in 2018, we were really cautious about the cadence and how often we were messaging this audience while still maintaining the really strong engagement that we're seeing from this channel. So this year, we'll be optimizing our approach slightly. So rather than just sending every other day and then again on Monday, as you know, our customer buying behaviors have changed so much over these sorts of weekends, with some customers holding out until after Cyber Monday and retailers starting earlier or extending beyond Cyber Monday or starting well before Black Friday. So this year we're going to be rethinking sort of like the timing of when we do our offers and how early we start and how late we run as well. So we had a lot of learnings there, and I think this year our cadence and promo period will be slightly extended. So that's a little bit about our plan and strategy and how we're looking to take all of our learnings from 2018 and kind of make 2019 even more successful for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Philip. I really appreciate you going through all of that and detailing that for everyone. And, last little piece I'm just covering here before we go into Q&A is a quick little checklist we put together based on what we found working with over 450 brands to date as we approach this next holiday season. Number one is to start planning as early as possible, which I think folks like Philip are really ahead on these things. And the more that you can get together your calendar now and reach consumers now, it's going to be much more effective. Number two, most people that we work with come in with a list of zero. And really now is the time to start building that channel ASAP so that when those peak holiday days come, you're going to be able to send messages to a substantial list. Certainly, I think Philip had a good sized list last year, but I'm really excited to see the impact it'll have this year since we've got another year of great growth of people that have signed up so that we can reach all of those subscribers this time. And when it comes to the actual strategy for how to build that list, that's something we're experts in. We have a lot of tools in order to grow the messaging list really, really fast. Our goal is to make messaging a top 3 revenue channel for your company as fast as we possibly can. And we have a lot of ways to grow that list, both on your mobile website, your desktop site, as well as 10 plus other channels. And in addition to growing that list, we have a lot of tools to send messages, and we can help you put together calendars for messages that you can send in the holidays and beyond, and analyze that performance in real time in order to improve it and hit the maximum possible ROI. And good news for those folks on the webinar, we also do offer a free trial of our product. So if you want to check out the free trial, please just submit a demo or send an email to sales@attentivemobile.com. Or you know what, you can email me too. I'm just Brian, BRIAN, @attentivemobile.com. And we'd be thrilled to help your company out and do everything we can to make this a top 3 channel. So we've reached the end of the prepared remarks. And again, I'd just like to thank Glossy and Philip for joining and putting all of this together. And then we do have time now for some questions for those that want to jump out and ask us things. So please, reach out, ask questions, bring it all in. And we will go through and answer as many questions as we possibly can. So please take a minute right now to ask questions, and then in a minute or so, we'll start going through them.
All right. Thank you, Brian and Philip, for all of your great insights. So just a reminder for all of our attendees, the full recording of the webinar will be made available to you in a follow-up email tomorrow. Yes, like they said, we're going to now move on to the Q&A portion of the webinar. We have a couple of questions already. So let's start off with this one. This one is for Philip, and it says, do you view this as an acquisition channel, retention channel, or both? And why do you think mobile messaging is so successful for CB2?
Yeah, great question, and it was a big topic of conversation here at CB2 when we launched the SMS program. So we do see it as both an acquisition and a retention channel. When we first launched this, we set up a daily dash that basically monitored how many new customers we were getting signing up through SMS, whether they were already enrolled in our email program as well or not, and as well as whether they were actual new customers to CB2, as in had never purchased with CB2 before. So we were able to see there was actually about a third of customers were completely new to CB2. So what that allowed us to do is kind of look at this as testing into different acquisition offers. And what we wanted to do was find the richest offer that drove the most signups, while obviously protecting margin as well. So we did a lot of testing in the early days, and now we actually pulse an interrupter across our website and across desktop and mobile with a sign-up offer for SMS. And previously, from a comp perspective, we always had an email interrupter where we were just capturing email addresses. But after a lot of evaluation, there's pros and cons. Some of the cons with the email interrupter being fraud protection, and people can sign up with several email addresses to keep on getting the offer, but ultimately that's only one customer to us. So the thing with SMS is, takes a special person to go and get 7 mobile phone numbers to keep signing up. So we see that as a better way for us to be able to enroll new customers in our SMS program if they're already enrolled in email, and get a view in of total new customers. And the reason it is so successful for us, and we are leaning into the SMS channel, is because of those click-through and conversion rates, because it's such a more direct way to be able to get in front of the customer and connect with the shoppers than email, which is a little bit more of a cluttered space now with people's inboxes.
Great. So we have another question here. This one is for Brian, and it asks, how much time and resources would it take to start a mobile messaging channel? And they also want to know how much work it would be to maintain a channel like that.
Yeah, good question. I think one of the things we recently, a couple weeks ago, announced that we raised another $40 million in venture financing from Sequoia Capital. And one of the things that they found when doing research on the investment and talking to our customers, and something they were surprised by, was the ease with which people were able to launch and how quickly they launched. And that's something that we've really focused on as a company, is to make it really easy for our customers to get started, because we know that marketers are incredibly busy, already managing so many different balls that they're juggling in the air, that to add something that new is really hard. So we strive to make it as easy as possible to add it as a net new channel. And that means, number one, having integrated ways to grow the list easily, which we completely manage and do for our customers. And then two, sending the messages. So we offer ways to send automated messages that require no work for the customer. And then also campaign messages, which we can help to put together and schedule and get together for our customers. And then three, we have a platform that shows all of the reporting in one place, but also can email that reporting to you if you want it, so that you can see how much money it's making. So hopefully those things all add up together to making this a really easy channel to launch.
Great. So we have another question for Philip, and they ask, which strategy are you most excited to try out for this holiday season upcoming?
I think it would be the daily deals that we spoke about a little bit earlier. We didn't have that last holiday season. So by having those daily deals, it allows us to be able to send more messages that are relevant and unique to the customer. And I know Brian touched on that. But you saw from the conversion rates, the revenue that we're seeing per SMS is really strong. And so for us, each additional message, as long as opt-out rates are staying as low as they are for us is additional revenue. So really excited to test out those daily deals that drive urgency and higher frequency over the holiday season.
Okay. So we have someone else who would like to know what types of messages work best. And they also would like to know if there's a reason why you always add an image.
I can speak to that across the companies we see. Philip, do you want to speak? You can speak to it from your own perspective.
Yeah, sure. So just quickly, yeah, we did do some testing into this a little bit earlier over whether we do animated GIFs with copy in the text, with images as well. What we've found is through testing, the SMS that we send with an image, especially considering the types of product that we're selling, it's very, furniture and stuff, they're very aspirational environments. And CB2 is all about sort of like inspiration and helping people curate their living space and everything. So we've found that with the image always works better, especially when you're doing promo messages, because then it doesn't feel like, you're just spamming people. And then we've found GIFs actually perform even stronger for us. But what we do is we try and reserve the animated GIFs with sort of for those free shipping times, or when we do SMS exclusives. So when we run an offer that's exclusively for our SMS customers. So that's when we'll do that way people kind of, they're opening every single message. So that way, that people get, through a recognition of the type of message that they're going to get. It's like, this is a special offer, and that's helping to drive our click-through rates on those as well.
Yeah, just adding to that, and certainly in agreement with what Philip's saying, across the platform, across the over 450 customers we have, we do see that image messages outperform messages with them, but it does come down to the quality of the image.
So we have a question here that's asking if mobile messaging is a successful channel during the rest of the year, so not just the holiday season when everything's so busy.
Do you want me to take that first, or?
Sure.
Yeah, it is for the whole year. We see, again, just because of the way it's a direct channel that gets right in front of our shoppers. So we do use it every week to support our promo messages, as well as now we've just started doing sort of branded content messages. So we're doing sort of more blog editorial style articles that we then link to an e-commerce spill page. So if it's sort of like an interior design blogger that did an article featuring CB2 product, we do that sort of branded message and we post those out through as well. And we've actually seen, we actually went in them just to kind of be purely branded content messages and not necessarily from a sales driving perspective, but they've proven to actually drive a good amount of revenue. So we're continuing to keep up that strategy as well. So it's kind of like an all year thing. And there's kind of like here at CB2 now, whenever other channel owners want to promote something or the promo planners, they kind of run to SMS first.
Someone wants to know how you actually get people to subscribe to your text messaging program. Is it just on your website, or is there another way?
Yeah, I can jump in there. First off, for text overall as a channel, it is a channel that you have to have explicit opt-in for. There's a thing called the TCPA that governs communications over text or phone calls. And you do have to have the consumer explicitly opt in and say that they want to get these messages. So you can't just upload a list of people who have bought from you before that you happen to have their phone number for. You've got to get them to opt in a compliant manner. At Attentive, we have built out and actually patented a solution where people can join in just 2 taps. So we'll show sign-up units on a brand's mobile website or on mobile landing pages or as part of their social media or even an email, where if the consumer clicks on that sign up promotion, it actually generates a pre-filled text message with the phone number of the brand. In this case, it would be the CB2's short code phone number, and a join message that says that they want to join. In this manner, the user can join by just hitting send and therefore joining the program. So again, we do a 2-tap sign-up process. The first tap is in order to initiate that pre-filled text message, and the second tap is to send that message. So a lot of signups that people come through mobile web or other experiences on their mobile device. We also see, as Philip mentioned earlier, expansion to desktop, where we're collecting phone number from the user who types it in manually. You can also have it integrated into a checkout process and do all numbers of different types of things. You can even run paid social, of which we have a real-time setup with Facebook. So a lot of solutions in order to grow that list.
Cool. So we have someone who asks, the examples of messages you show have customer responses, which is very cool. Would I be able to see those responses in your platform?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways to manage customer responses. First, we have automated responses that can go back to customer responses based on what the customers say. Number 2, we surface those responses in our web application interface under a conversations tab. So you can see the responses that are coming in, and if you want to, you can reply back to those conversations. And what's cool is not only just the text, but you can also see images that are sent or received. So we've gotten some pretty funny selfies and other images that customers have sent us. Sometimes appropriate, sometimes not, that have been all over the place. So there's a lot of fun stuff that we get there. Finally, we've also built real-time integrations with customer service and clienteling solutions like a Zendesk, for instance. So if you wanted to have them go to Zendesk, you could also do that. And you can also set up keywords to make it go to Zendesk. So if you don't want all replies to go there, because that can be a lot, but you have a certain keyword that if people type, it then goes to Zendesk, we can do that as well. So a lot of different ways to manage those replies. And we do think that the future of this channel is a big focus on that two-way nature of it. And we do see the incremental money that customers spend when they're getting replies.
So someone asks, at what point does fatigue set in? When, unsubscribes increase and CTRs decrease, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so again, it's really really important to be careful about how often you're sending messages to your customers. So we have a fatigue setting per customer so that a customer will not get more than X messages in Y time period. And we can set that fatigue setting so by whatever you want it to be. So by default, we could say a customer is not going to get, say, more than 4 messages in the last 7 days. And if the customer is then scheduled to get a new automated or campaign message, we're going to suppress the sending of that message in order to stop that customer from getting too many messages and thus potentially driving the consumer to opt out.
Gotcha. So someone wants to know, once I build my database, how does your team help segment and A/B test messages?
Yeah, so on the segmentation side, we have a very full-featured segment builder that uses all of the behavioral data that we collect from your website, as well as any additional CRM data that we can get our hands on, as well as interaction data for how people are interacting with the messages we're sending. So that means you can make segments around things like people who have browsed certain sections of your site, people who maybe haven't bought something in the last 30 days, people who buy a lot of things, all sorts of different segments of users. In terms of A/B testing, we do offer A/B testing built into our product where you can test a number of different variants As Philip mentioned earlier, you could test it with or without an image, but you can also test all sorts of different content and see how that A/B testing drives different results.
So this question asks, what service is best to use to track how clients browse? What products they're interested in order to make it personalized?
Yeah, so our solution, Attentive solution, works out of the box without needing other sources of data. So we can be self-sufficient, and that's the way we are with most of our customers. But we do also offer integrations with other ESPs, CRMs, data lakes, CDPs, or other types of recommendation engines. So it would really depend on what you're using today. And we should do our best to work with that if that's something you see be very effective. But on the other hand, we can also work out of box and not require those types of integrations.
Great. So we have a question that is regarding email versus SMS. And they want to know, is it best practice to send the same message on the same day to both channels? Or is there an advantage to staggering the channels or having unique messaging in each channel?
Yeah, I think the thing that we probably see used most from our customers is that they're sending email probably every day and probably first thing in the morning for their email marketing strategies. On the messaging side, they're not sending every day. They're probably sending 2 times a week, maybe more during high peak periods, maybe less during low periods. And they're also being, really thoughtful in terms of when they're sending that message. Usually in the afternoon works a bit better than in the morning to offer some separation from when they're reaching out to the customer, but also finding a time when the customer is more likely to shop. Whereas, on the email side, they're just trying to bump up to the top of the inbox.
Okay, so we're just about out of time, but before we wrap up, I'd love to know if you guys have any other insights that you'd like to share.
Phil, do you got anything?
I think we've covered everything. I'm not really. I would just say that if your brand's thinking about trying SMS, because we were kind of it was very foreign to us here at CB2, but it was a really good decision we made, and I'm so glad that we ventured down the path with Attentive. And so I'd say definitely look into SMS as a incremental channel if you haven't already.
And I'd say, hey, we're thrilled if we get a chance to work with more great companies. And again, I'm just Brian, Brian, at attentivemobile.com. You can shoot me a personal email or ping, sales at. And we'd love to be able to show you what we can do for your brand. We offer free trials to prove it. And I want to thank everyone for their time, Glossy for setting this up, and Philip for saying all those nice things. He's been such a great partner to work with. So thank you, Philip. And I wish everyone a great Labor Day. Thank you very much.
Cool. So that's all the time we have for today. But I want to say thanks again to Brian and Philip, and of course to our partner Attentive. And thank you to all of those who joined us today. We hope you learned something. So keep an eye on your inboxes tomorrow for a link to the recording, which you can then watch on demand. Thanks again, and please enjoy the rest of your day.